up? Welcome to another episode, the 39th episode. Juan, you better be Googling what 39.
I got nothing.
Oh, fine. Anyway, this is the Back of the Class podcast. We are your hosts. I am the Esteban Serrano.
Me llamo Juan.
Me llamo Zach.
I don't even know what to say.
You need a translation?
But anyway, I know what. Come on, man. Anyway, on this week's episode, we're going to talk Drake versus Pusha T and Kid Cudi. Oof. Meek Mill's got a new mixtape coming out. But what does it mean? Eric B and Rakim are back together, and Soulja Boy and Bow Wow are together, and no one asked them to.
No.
And we're going to be talking about what's new on Fuse.tv. We got some dope content that we want to put you guys on to. And then Zach is going to pitch us some TV shows that we should be watching. And, of course, we'll do whatever happened to and close out with what we're listening to this weekend. But right now, let's get into the main topic. Drake dropped 3 really shitty records.
4. Well, one's a remix or something.
Okay, so 4 really shitty records.
Wow.
One of which we care about. It's the one where he talks.
Don't speak for me.
Subliminally.
I like the 2 songs that are out there.
You're outnumbered. The only one that we care about, me and Juan, are the one where he actually raps on it. And that one is shit. But he does mention Pusha T allegedly, subliminally. And he mentions Kid Cudi. We got to start, first of all, was the Kid Cudi line too late now that he's in rehab? Mm-hmm. Talking about him being zen and perked up, trying not to deal with reality. But the man's been in rehab for a week, and then you drop this record.
Why?
A couple.
I don't understand. I mean,
weeks.
there are so many levels of, I don't want to, it's a strong word, but it's cowardice of, you waited this long to respond to Cudi.
Right.
You never responded to Buttons.
At all. Well, he allegedly responded to him in that freestyle, that record with French Montana, No Shopping or some dumb shit.
But it's like you're either going to address somebody or you're not. Like, stop pussyfooting. You either address someone directly and you say their name like they do to you all the time, or don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Like, if you were going to go back at Cudi, which is fine because he went at you first,
right?
Do it when he first came back. Don't wait till he's in rehab to, take shots at him. And then not even fucking call him out by his name and just make references to Man on the Moon.
Right.
Like, just all the stuff that people like us complain about Drake, he just keeps doing the same shit. Stop.
Go ahead, Zach.
pussyfooting.
Defend your friend's Aubrey.
Well, we're mostly talking about this 2 Birds, 1 Stone song, which he, I think, kind of tellingly did not actually put out. Like, he did on Sunday was his OVO sound. He actually went to the show and hosted.
Right.
And he dropped these 3 new songs and dropped 1 remix. And then that night or the next day, the only 2 songs that are out they're not the ones that talk about Pusha and Cudi. Those only live like bootlegged and in the middle of that radio show.
Right. Too embarrassed to just poke their heads out.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is he just leaving a back door so if people shit on it, he's just like, I was just.
Well, people did because they're saying, this is really lame, man. Like, you're coming after somebody who's depressed, who's gone into rehab, and he on Instagram like commented on somebody's critique. He said, "Mans need to stop mentioning my name when they get geeked," and a
month later.
No, see, this is the problem, right? I've kind of figured it out. So I think when information leaves the United States, it has to go through customs before it gets to Canada.
So you think I got caught up in customs?
So Drake is right on time for what's going on in Canada. But here in the States, this shit is like 3 weeks old.
Here's my thing, right?
I'm hoping that's the damn problem.
Number one, it makes Joe Budden look so good. Because it's like, oh, you're going to respond to those 2, but you're not even going to touch me that I made 3 records towards you.
Right.
So if I'm Joe Budden, I'm like, damn, he's really scared of me because he didn't even come back at me. He came back at everyone else.
Pusha has Pusha even said anything in recent times? I don't think so.
Any subliminal.
But it's crazy because you're gonna.
I think he knows better.
How are
than
you
to
gonna?
do that right now.
How are you gonna dip on Budden and then go at Pusha T? Like,
right, you blow the dust off your Pusha T beef.
I don't understand.
But the Pusha T thing pissed me off because I'm so sick of every blog just declaring that somebody took shots at somebody when there was like no defining characteristics in the rap at all. Like, he's basically talking about, you act like you have been lying in your trunk with coke, and I think you're actually sitting there watching Scarface rolling weed. And he says, like, you're the middleman. It's like that could be about any trap rapper.
Kinda.
Yeah.
But if you know you're,
I guess, but
it's like when you talk to somebody in high school and like, yo, you been talking shit about me? And they're like, no, and it's like, well, you said everything that I'm the only person that you could be talking about, but you didn't say my name. Oh no, it wasn't you, it was somebody else.
It was somebody else.
Like,
oh, easy out.
Yeah, like
that's the easy way out.
Cowardice.
Pussyfoot. I love the word, the term pussyfoot.
Yeah, it's pussyfoot 101.
Yeah.
Pussyfoot.
And then
101.
like in between that stuff, the subliminals, air quotations, he's talking about other people being like not working to get where they are and like being handed stuff. Like you are the king of being handed, coming from privilege and getting to where you are today, Mr. Not started from the bottom.
Right.
Like who are you?
But how can he be privileged when he sat through a prison visit? Is what
right.
he wants to know.
Oh, God.
Well, and it's like that. Like this is the thing, right? People who their argument, like that argument of like I've seen real shit. You wasn't in prison. You sat through a visit, and like that doesn't even make that. Why does that make you?
But like sat in through a visit, like what he visited somebody.
Yes.
So he's saying that just because he walked through those doors, that automatically gives him cred.
And you know that the only reason he walked through those doors was because he thought it would give him cred.
That's so bad.
You're like, come on, man. Like, just miss me with this shit. So like, it'd be one thing if the music was really good. Like, I'll take it back to the whole 50 Cent, Rick Ross beef. Like, the theatrics of 50 Cent was genius. It was hilarious. It was great. But the music Ross was putting out was better. Therefore, Ross wins. Like, stop. Miss me with these subliminals. The music you're putting out is shit. So just make good music again. We don't want to hear about your prison visit. Like, who cares, man?
I think these songs are fine. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm good with fine.
I also
don't want fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like they didn't blow me away, and I can already tell they're just like hooking me in to listen more and more until I really like them. Like I already really like that one, Sneak In with 28 Savage. I like Fake Love quite a bit too.
I just want to go on.
There's better versions of both those songs.
I want to go on record to say that's probably the worst I've heard him rap ever.
I agree.
Like he's way better than that.
I agree.
There is no conviction to anything he's saying. The punchlines aren't that strong, and there is no structure to that song. It's just like him reading off a page,
right?
Off the BlackBerry.
Now, mind you, last week we talked about the Eminem campaign record, which was a very similar record in that it was just like a stream of consciousness rant, no structure, not even really a beat going on. But when you hear that, and then this week you hear this, it's like, shut up.
People should have taken a couple weeks off out of respect and out of like self-preservation.
Yeah, man, that's some bullshit. But the last message or the last thing I'll say about this record is Cudi's manager released I don't know if he said something.
He
tweeted it.
Yeah, he said Drake's corny as fuck.
Right.
Like where were you when you were like begging for verses?
Begging
like that.
Cudi for features.
Yeah,
I've heard that multiple times.
Yeah, I agree, and I've always said that Cudi is the father of this whole emo movement. So clearly,
he just gets forgotten.
There would be no Drake without Cudi because Cudi was the first super emo rapper that we can, accredit all the ones who come to follow. So I completely agree or believe when his manager says that Drake was pounding the door down trying to get features. And then, like, let's not forget in the MTV, when I was 17 or whatever that show was, Drake is on camera, on tape, talking about how he went on eBay and bought a microphone that was allegedly signed by the Clips, and he would rap Clips records.
This is when he was a kid, though. That's irrelevant
holding
now.
This microphone.
That's irrelevant now.
It's irrelevant, but it's good ammunition to use against it.
It
is good. It's funny.
Man. You are the definition of stan. If you're on eBay trying to buy a microphone that was allegedly signed by these dudes, and you're rapping their lyrics in the mirror, like, you can't get cornier than that. So stop trying to come in. We know you're not them guys. Well, you're not that guy because the guy you are is rapping their lyrics in the mirror with the fucking microphone. So come on.
Just stay in your, it just stay in
Drake
your
has
lane
pissed
of
you guys
what
off
you do.
this year.
Yeah, man.
I just don't understand why he just doesn't just keep what you're doing. You're being successful at what you're doing.
Right.
Just keep doing what you do.
Don't and not only that, like I think maybe in Juan you can agree or disagree with me. The reason why Drake pisses us off this year is because we know he's better than what he's given us so far.
I mean, that's why I don't check out or like I don't spend more time with his music because this is not the music he makes is not for me
Anymore, right?
I know he can do a lot better, and I like it the stuff he does where he does rap,
Right.
but he just doesn't do that, and I get why he doesn't do it, so I don't hold it against him. He pisses me off when he does shit like this.
Right. Like
why wouldn't he just say people's names though? Like the Man on the Moon thing, that's clear enough. But like, what do you have to lose by saying somebody's name? Nothing.
Pussyfooting.
Well, see, this is the thing. He's mastered the flip. Like Drake, you know, the reason he is who he is because of his cultural impact on the way he can spin. I mean, Hotline Bling was just a music video of memes. Like, he knows how to, you know what I mean? He knows how to get the internet buzzing. He knows how to do that. So he knows that if I said Pusha T, then there's no speculation. Then it's not a topic of discussion. Then people aren't
But there is
trying
really
to
no
decipher.
speculation.
Because, like, no one care. Like, not no one. People clearly care. I don't give a fuck anymore, man. You rapped your ass off in times past. Don't step in this arena and then not rap your ass off anymore. And not only that, don't be challenged by a real MC and then you want to go and hide. Like, don't do that. If that's who you want to be, then stop claiming rapper. Then just be Drake. Just be a singer. Just be a singing ass singer who raps sometimes. But you ain't an MC, bro, and you're not a rapper if you can't go toe to toe with Button.
And to put the kibosh on this whole him beefing people. Number one, I don't fault him for picking battles that he knows he's gonna win because that's smart,
Right.
in my opinion. But it does piss me off when you don't name people. Like when he went at Meek, he went at Meek.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
These two songs, or this song that he's going at Pusha and Kid Cudi, doesn't say their name. That shit pisses me off. It doesn't piss me off because whatever. But it's annoying because it's like, just say their name if you're going to go at them. Because that's just like the dude growing up in the neighborhood, the guy who picks on, you know, you observe the guy who picks on all the kids he knows he could beat up. And you're just like, if you want to be that guy, why don't you just pick on me or this guy or that guy that will give you a fight?
Right.
Like, that just makes you look worse.
Exactly.
And that's my problem with him when it comes to, like, beefing and shit.
Word. One real quick anecdote. Growing up in Philly, rest in peace to my homie Steve. Steve was the quietest, chill, coolest dude ever. And the big OG bully, ignorant dude Lance picked a fight with the wrong dude he thought he could win. Steve whooped his ass. And we never saw Lance again.
Yeah, fuck you, Lance.
So
fuck you and your stupid name.
You gonna pick the wrong one?
I seen Lance. He's not doing well.
Somebody's gonna bite you in the ass.
All right.
But anyway, moving on to another Drake. Someone else Drake bullied. Meek Mill is dropping Dream Chasers 4.
Yeah.
Dream Chasers 4. By the time this comes out, it'll be out.
Yep.
How do you feel? How do you guys feel? Are you excited? Are you going to hear?
I was just thinking about Meek Mill on the train this morning, thinking like, this guy is taking so long.
For good reason.
I
think it's for good reason, no?
That he's making something good or that he's like locked up at home?
No, I think that he needed to distance himself from that Drake beef. But here's the thing, right? And
hopefully
from people that I know who know Meek, it was the same thing with the Puma situation. Like Meek had a Puma deal for a really long time, but every time it seemed the right time for them to do something, some new stuff came up, and they had to back off of him because it was bad press. Dropping this music that he's been working on, it wasn't good timing around the whole Drake thing because his brand took a hit. And then recently, with Beanie Siegel and Sean Kingston in the game, the brand took another hit. So it's like he's kind of got the right time when his music is going to be the topic of the discussion and not his beefs or mishaps. I think. So I think that's why he kind of held out. And if it's good, then we won't care.
If he just goes back to what made Dream Chasers, 2 was the best one.
2.
If he goes back to just doing that, not addressing Drake in any way,
right,
and just not addressing the situation, period.
Just making
and he
music.
lays down what he did, good production. It should be fine, but it's not gonna be at a level of what 3 was when everybody's like, "Oh shit, another Dream Chasers." Because now he's not damaged goods, but kind of.
Well, again, now listen, he comes from, and I'm going to mention back to the story that I said earlier about 50 Cent, Rick Ross. He comes from that school. You know, we had 50 killing Ross, and then all of a sudden he beat him with good music. So if Meek is putting out good music, because it's clear Drake isn't, if Meek is putting out strong music, if he gives us another, 3-4 solid records, then the conversation is going to shift back to his music.
Which is where he needed to be.
Which is where it needs to be.
I don't know, man. I don't think there's any world where he is smart enough or has self-control to not talk about this 10 times on a project.
I agree with that.
And I just don't think there's a world where I don't think
It's gonna be
I don't think if there were 2.5 years
the intro
past
is
the
going to be
beef,
straight up.
Them bars.
I think it will be really good. I think his album last year was better than Drake's album last year.
I agree.
But yeah,
Dreams and Nightmares.
I
It
think
was a great album.
I don't think if you're Meek Mill and your bread and butter is like being a rapper's rapper, that there was any plus side to waiting. Like there will be like people like us who really like rap will try online and I don't think in conversation at all, but online to talk about it as music and talk about the album. And there will be headlines like it's time to stop talking about Drake and just talk about Meek and stuff. But I don't know. I mean, I think it will be really good, probably. He's posted a shitload of previews. I was listening to them a while ago, but I haven't listened to the more recent ones. But I'm sure it'll be good. What I was thinking about is, how much is he dealing with, political shit with producers and, collaborators after this, I bet.
Right.
I wonder if he has to, try to strong arm people to give him a beat, people he's worked with before, if he'll want to take sides, or if people are I can't really work with you right now, man. It's not a good look for me. And then also just that thing of him being under house arrest, and just I could imagine he's pretty demoralized, spirit wise after all this shit with the court and stuff.
And he also mentioned that this is going to be the last time where he's talking very violent, heavy.
I thought he said he was already done.
No, this tape,
one.
This tape is where he released all of it. I'm not doing this anymore. So I'm kind of excited to see how he closes that chapter and opens a new one if he sticks to the non-violent, hammer and guns and killing and clapping and whatever. But listen, Meek at one point in the game was the hottest dude. He still has that ability, and I'm hoping that house arrest, Drake beef, game beef, all of these things have affected him to where he makes some really hungry shit.
Yeah, I think it was a good move to surprise release it too, and just
Literally,
literally
a surprise release if he told us that it's coming out tomorrow.
Well, with 1 day of notice and no info, he just tweeted the cover art and was like, tomorrow, DC4.
But we've been waiting for a while.
He needs something to just come out of that being everyone's punching bag. That's what he's become, a punchline and a punching bag for memes and punchlines and jokes and blogs and all that stuff.
Now, does his career hang on this mixtape?
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah. I was gonna say.
If I don't know about his career, but if the mixtape isn't good, or if he tries to diss Drake the way he was trying to last year and it's just embarrassing, he's gonna be in a hole. It's gonna be a lot to come back from.
Yeah, I think a lot hangs with this tape. I mean, not some of us Meek Mill fans, supporters, aka Philadelphians, are never going to count him out, and we're always going to support and listen to his music no matter when it drops. But I feel like I don't know if anyone else is kind of as bought in as we are.
Dude, if I was from Philly and I saw him at Made in America last year in 2015, I would maybe never be a fan of him again.
Oh my!
It was like such a bad set. It was after the beef. He had so much to play from his album, and he was like up there having his DJ like play Future songs while he was like taping the audience with his phone. It was bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be listening to it this weekend. We'll see.
In more jolly, excited news, Eric B and Rakim are back together. And
Wow.
for you people out there who don't know who they are, shame on you.
I'll say.
Eric B for president and Rakim is one of the greatest rappers of all time.
Your
So you
favorite
need to-
rapper's favorite rapper,
Right.
basically.
You need to find out who they are. But it's a big deal because Eric B was the DJ and producer of the first Rakim albums. And
They were basically Gangstar before Gangstar.
pretty much. I mean, but back then everybody had
Yeah,
their DJ.
it was the DJ and the MC. Yeah,
DJ
true
Jazzy
that.
Jeff and the Fresh. It was always a DJ and an MC. But like Rakim was the first one who was like, for one, he was super duper ignorantly lyrical, very poetic, very visionary, but at the same time he never cursed. And not many people even realize that he doesn't curse. But that's how dope he was. He was so dope that you didn't even realize it because it was such good music. But so they're getting back together, and that's exciting because they've had beef, like decades-long beef with one another. So the fact that the two of them are able to bury the hatchet and get back together now, I feel like anything's possible. I feel like Dame Dash is going to come back with Jay-Z, and they're going to be the Rockefeller again. Like,
And it's cool because they announced they're going to shoot new videos for classic songs.
Oh,
They're going to tour. So,
Listen,
I mean,
man.
I'm assuming hopefully we're going to get new music, which would be incredible.
Paid in Full is one of the best rap albums ever. If we get some music videos, and I want them to be in the style of the 80s.
it'd be cool if they re-record the songs too, though. Like that's something I'm always wishing for bands to do. That's just like one of my dreams that happens the least is for people to like re-record classic stuff just to hear it like 20 years later with new production and stuff.
But like Rakim, like I've had the pleasure of meeting him a couple times. He's a great guy, humble dude, real wise. But his energy and his aura.
Yeah, dude, he walks into a room and he
know he's
commands
there.
respect. Even if you don't know who he is,
you know he's there.
Somebody. Because just like Esteban said, he walks into a room and that aura is like, all right, you're somebody.
You in
the
the
way
presence.
you carry yourself. Yeah. And like if you see him around other rappers treat him like he's, I'm not gonna say God, but like they
He's
treat
royalty,
him like
man.
he's just like oh shit,
Right.
And then they get like there's stories of like Eminem talks about getting
was
a
just
call
to say,
and then he's just like oh shit, like they all get ASAP Rocky's named after
Yeah,
him. Like
it's
this
named
dude is like
after him.
the elite of the elite.
I listened to Rap God after our show last week because I had completely forgotten about that amazing song. And Eminem was like, I'm a product of Eric B and Rakim.
Yeah.
I think and it was that song,
Yeah, man. Like, this is a big deal for hip hop, and I'm so excited because another thing is, I was talking to my homie Harris Stang the other day, and he was telling me that they're on a tour now, like with a bunch of like those iconic, legendary rappers, and Rakim's been on the tour by himself. Now Eric B and Rakim are going to be on tour together, so we're going to actually get to see them on stage for probably the first time in like 20 years. So I can't wait to see what they bring. And for those of you guys at home, like I and Zach, and Juan, we go to a lot of shows. We go to a lot of concerts, festivals, and things of that nature. When it comes to hip hop, the greatest hip hop shows I've ever seen has been old school MCs.
They are really good.
It's a different way. Like the birth and origin of MCing literally was mastering of ceremony. They were the ones who controlled the crowd. They weren't on stage with 100 people singing along to the CD. Like they were interacting with the crowd. They were making you ooh, ah, hey, ho, sway this way, dude. It was this show. And so anytime there's some dope old school around that I really love and respect, I always go check it out because it reminds me how hip hop should be performed. And like one of the, people who kind of champion that and continue it on is Kanye. He does it in a very theatrical way and he does it in its own way, but it's a show. Regardless of if you're a fan of an album or not that he drops, when he's on tour, you have to see him. Yeah. Because it is like the greatest show you can watch hip hop wise.
It's a good way to like, there's always stories about like these 90s kid rappers not being into 90s rap. Right. And it's a good way to I can understand if the production and like the having just kind of like a straightforward simple beat isn't something people can be tuned into now if they are raised on hip hop these days, but
short attention spans,
to see it live though, it's that can cut down that wall. Yeah. Like I saw De La Soul last year, and it was great and everybody was into it, and a lot of people who were there, it was at a festival, they were waiting for the next act, but they were loving it.
It's kind of sad because like the kids these days, like the attention span when it comes to rap these days, the attention span is just not there.
Right.
No, like kids these days will not listen through a whole entire song to listen to lyrics. That's why rappers like, and I'm not shitting on him, but like rappers like Travis Scott are so popular because he's not saying anything. He's saying cool shit that sounds cool and is catchy, and you can repeat it. Shit, I repeat it, but there's no substance there because and kudos to artists like Travis Scott. People like. I would go as far as like Riff Raff and like those kind of guys who are they know the audience.
Right, they know what they're doing.
They know that if they rap, okay, I know Travis can rap, but he knows if he just raps his ass off, he's probably not gonna get the play he gets from when he just auto tunes and just does hooks and just simple melodies and simple rhymes. So
and Jay-Z said it. He was like, I can't do numbers like the Roots. Like, no disrespect. He says it like, I want to rap my ass off. He's like, I might be a Talib Kweli, but, I sold 4 million records. I can't do that anymore. You know what I mean? It's about knowing your lane, knowing your audience, knowing your timing, knowing those different things.
The perfect example is Nas. Because Nas does not sell like M numbers. He maybe once or twice has sold Jay-Z numbers, but he doesn't consistently put up those numbers because he's a victim and he doesn't conform to just rapping simple shit because he's so smart, so profound. But I wouldn't say his pocket suffers, but I definitely would say he probably would be more marketable and more mainstream successful if he just raps simple shit, but he just can't because he's just so good and so smart and intelligent. Yeah. So it sucks to us because like our generation was like that rap boom bap generation, but with the times you gotta. Who said that, Zach?
Somewhat.
The times they are changing.
Yeah, Bob Dylan.
There you go.
Nobel Prize winner and ignorer, Bob Dylan.
Well, that's another story for another podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
That's for Juan's Bob Dylan podcast.
That's right.
Starting next week.
That's from my Google right now. I don't know what you're talking about.
So another amazing thing that happened this week.
So much rap.
To our surprise.
Amazing thing?
It's amazing that it happened. I didn't say that
brakes,
it was amazing. Anyway, Soulja Boy and Bow Wow dropped a joint album together. And
what was the headline
this week?
What was the headline we saw?
Shout out to Hip Hop Wired. They put that joint album that Bow Wow and Soulja Boy did together, and then in parentheses, the one that no one wanted, dropped. Well, it came out, and here's the link.
Nice.
But
somebody said this is the best idea from 2007.
That's good.
Listen, I listened to the album, and
bless your heart.
I listened to it too this morning.
I'm not going to lie.
Bless both of y'all's.
Passable.
I'm not going to lie. I liked a couple of the records.
It was as a whole.
First of all, Ric Flair is a hard record. If you're not going to listen to anything on this tape, listen to Ric Flair. The Ric Flair record is dope.
Now, I haven't heard it.
Right.
Production-wise, it's a good record?
Production-wise, it's a good record, and Bow Wow's rapping his ass off on here.
It's just I mean...
It's what you expect, Ric Flair.
Yeah, it slides right into the middle of everything coming from like Atlanta right now. It's of that caliber. It's nothing would stand out at all.
There's Ric Flair records, and then there's Killer Mike's Ric Flair record.
No.
Which is the standard for Ric Flair records.
No.
Because that is the best Ric Flair record.
Man, listen. Zach described it It's right in the middle of everything going on in Atlanta. Soulja Boy, in my opinion, sounds like he's one of the Migos pretty much on this whole record. Bow Wow, to me, is really trying to rap, and it works, in my opinion. Now, this is how I feel. Honest to goodness. If a real producer was in the studio with them and was able to say, this works, this doesn't, rewrite this part, come harder on this part, this would actually be a good album. Yeah. But the fact that you just had these two dudes in the studio and they came out with this, it was like a good potential. Like if this was a rough draft and we actually was like, all right, Timbaland, or like a real producer, not like a beat maker, someone who can tell you to go do shit over and you would listen. If that was to happen, this would have been good. Yo, I was really impressed by Bow Wow on this joint. I've never been a huge Bow Wow fan. I've always respected his hustle and what he's accomplished and what he's did from a young age even to now, still, doing his thing as an actor and, a businessman and certain, things of that nature. Some of the things he says, out of his mouth is real stupid, but keeping it music, he's rapped his ass off on this joint. I'm not going to front. And remember, I compartmentalize my hip-hop, so I'm not putting this in the Killer Mike sphere or Nas sphere or Rakim sphere. I'm putting this in a 2016 trap rap fun sphere, and it works.
Do you think he's still going to retire? He said he's retiring when he turns 30 in March.
He's not 30?
No, but
yo, how old am I?
You gotta understand. Bow Wow was on the scene at like 9, bro.
Was little.
He was little.
I was in junior high school when he came out.
Yeah.
And he's not 30 yet? I'm only 32. How is he not 30?
He's a couple
you
years
just said it
younger
right
than you.
there, man. He's not. Yeah.
How old is he now?
29.
I'm sorry. I was dumbfounded that he's not 30 yet.
No, he said he's retiring when he turns 30 in March, and he there has like 2 albums that are supposed to be coming out.
Well, I need a JD and Bow Wow reunion before he retires.
Right.
But
I need Jay-Z to write his lyric. I need LL Cool J to write. Like I need that. If you want that era, then you got to bring all the people who.
But he needs to rap about 9-year-old shit.
Yeah, but
But I had missed this though, like, cause I never really paid. I didn't. Bow Wow like was not legitimate to me ever, and Soulja Boy I just didn't ever like.
Right.
But they had like a major feud where they spent like a week posting videos talking shit about each other's Lamborghinis. Yes. I guess. Yeah. And then I read about it, and the guy was like, "How do I know about this? Because I watched all 18 videos that these guys posted." Like.
Nothing like privileged rapper
weird
beef.
Stuff. Yeah.
I will say this.
Glad they made up.
Soulja Boy gets a lot of shit, rightfully so, because he posts and says dumb shit and puts out bad music.
Shout out to the slave masters.
That's what he said?
He said that on the red carpet one time. Shout out to the slave masters, because now we got the whips and the chains.
Okay.
So
he's put out 8 things this year, by the way.
But I do feel like
I
do feel like he does have a decent ear for catchy, because we can't forget, like, when he blew up, he fucking blew up when he first came out with all like with Superman and
oh my god,
Wake Up and whatever, all that shit. Like those were catchy songs that he produced. Yeah, like
which Beyonce just used, and he just got another check because Beyonce used that in her in Lemonade.
I'm not gonna go as far as say like he's whatever, but like he does have a decent ear or a decent ability to make catchy
props. You're right.
records.
You gotta give him props.
I know he gets a lot of shit, and mostly rightfully so, but that can't go unsaid because,
All right.
Yeah, so check it out. If you're not going to listen to anything
What's
else.
it called?
I don't know.
Oh.
Is it Soulja Wow?
What's it called?
I don't either.
I don't know.
Is it Soulja Wow or Bow Boy?
Oh, it's called Ignorant. Right?
Yeah, ignorant shit.
Aptly named.
Yeah.
Next.
And the title track number 2 is 7.5 minutes, by the way.
Yeah.
Some real ambitious
And
stuff.
here's my favorite part. On the first 2 tracks, Soulja Boy raps the same bars in certain. It was like, this is lazy as shit. This is why I'm saying I wish someone was in there to produce it. But anyway,
I just wish an adult was there to supervise.
Exactly.
That's basically what you mean.
real quickly, let's go through some of the dope things that we have on Fuse.tv here in the Flex Zone.
What are you guys happy that you've done lately?
I mean, this has been a good month because we've done a lot of we've put 2 episodes of Soul Searching in the can.
Yep.
No, Mr. Throwback, the recent Reebok
ESL
and Future
stuff.
Pump. Yeah, the ESL stuff for the Counter-Strike competition that happened a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
We started our new series called What the Fuck Do You Do?
Yeah,
where
what was
we
it in the
follow
first-
people around who do jobs in entertainment and pop culture
And that blew up.
yeah,
It
that
went
you know
viral.
and you heard of, you just don't know what they do.
And the
in
first one was
detail.
what a pro wrestler does.
And that has gotten picked up, done really well.
Yeah.
Trying to get more of those.
We've got a new podcast called Bester Day. That's Emily
I
and
love
Bianca.
that name, yo.
Um,
Bester Day.
It's all about nostalgia. They're 90s babies, and
when they
walk.
walk around, if you would just see the two of them in like a picture in a frame, you wouldn't know what year it was that picture was taken. That's how that's how much they really lived that life. Like,
I want to
Wow.
talk
you know what I'm saying?
Good
I
point.
love that about the two of them.
So yeah, they're great. We have a lot of Halloween stuff up there. We got a
Yep.
quiz if you know what horror villains these actors played. I made that. It's fun. It's a little
Word.
tricky.
Damn right.
And I will say one more thing that I edited this week that I really like was Emily, the host of Best Day. She's a senior editor. She went to Austin for Taylor Swift's only concert of this year, and it was like part of the Grand Prix.
Oh wow.
NASCAR or the F1?
The F1.
Okay.
And she went with like a shitload of strangers she met on the internet, and they made like
Oh,
a
wow.
Facebook group, and they went. It was like a greatest hits concert, and she wrote about the whole experience. It's
Oh,
really
dope.
cool. It's really cool.
It's a lot of
yeah.
hits.
That sounded awesome.
If you're
Well,
into that sort of thing.
real quickly, we got crazy access to the Rockefeller 20-year anniversary pop-up that went down. It was only on for, I think, 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday here in New York City. And Kareem Biggs Burke personally walked us through the space. And while we were there, we kind of unearthed the fact that some unreleased recorded Jay-Z material for the Reasonable Doubt album 20 years ago was discovered in that space during that time where we were there. They had actually recreated the D&D studio with the real equipment that they used back in the day. They bought up the real 2-inch reel-to-reel tape that they recorded the album on.
Yeah.
And for the first time in 20 years, the reels were being digitized.
It's awesome.
And they had discovered skits
And it was
that
like
they
the same
recorded.
speakers.
It was
all the
everything.
original. And not just Reasonable Doubt. Like,
Yeah.
one of my favorite albums, but probably my top 3 favorite artists, like Big L's Big Picture was recorded there.
Yeah.
Big L used to
Oh
be
my
like a
God.
mainstay there.
D&D studio is
Gangstar,
iconic.
Yeah.
KRS-One, like
Right.
That video
who's
was crazy.
who of
Yeah.
like hip hop recorded there. So it was really cool to be
Yeah.
around
That
that equipment.
equipment, yeah.
Period.
Yeah, that was really cool. to
So
watch
check
it.
that
So-
out too, man.
So obviously, yeah, if you maybe you just listen to our show, maybe you will watch views and listen to our show, maybe you go to the site. But yeah, hopefully it goes without saying, but like we make a ton of original video on
Yeah,
the site all
yeah.
the time. We make
And there's
lists,
different
we
places to
make
watch it.
quizzes,
Go
like,
to Fuse.tv.
Yeah.
We got an app that's really,
Apple
really
TV
nifty.
now, yep.
Yeah,
Like and
Nifty?
Yeah, it's like nifty means
that's the best thing you can give the app. That's the highest
Oh,
praise.
Yeah.
Nifty. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
nifty's like getting
What do I
that
know?
gold seal from like
Mm-hmm.
Gold seal.
But like, I say nifty because if an app doesn't work properly for me, I will delete it as soon as I download it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it works very well. You can find all our content on there,
Yeah.
all our video
Yeah,
stuff,
man.
our interviews, the pieces that we're talking about that we're continuing like soul searching or getting off the
Yeah,
ground.
man.
Like what the
we
fuck
do
does
cool
X do?
stuff.
Yeah.
So check
We
it
talked
out.
to Young Ma yesterday.
No, her name is Young M.A.
Fuck yes. that.
Previously Young Ma, so I'm not going to hurt you too hard.
All right.
But yeah, so Young M.A., we had a dope hour-long conversation with her, unearthed a lot of stuff that she hadn't told anyone before about some of the things, both personal life and, music-wise. She let us in on the album and, where she's in the process of that and what's it about and all that stuff. So look for those pieces to be rolled out over the next month. It's going to start in November. I think middle of November, we're going to start rolling those pieces out. And
Word.
it was great, a great combo.
Cool.
Yeah,
So I want to tell you guys about some TV shows
hit it.
that I've already bugged you about, but I'm gonna really try to sell you.
Sell Esteban because you sold me.
So-
I just don't have the time.
First of all, the first one is called Black Mirror. Already I'm in because I think it's black.
Black, no. it's more diverse than most shows, I would say. They do a good job, especially considering that it came from England. They did a good job. But
That stuff comes from England.
I'm gonna start with Westworld, the HBO show, because that show is a little more divisive. There's a lot of haters, but there's a lot of people who love it, and it's amazing. So Westworld is about, it's based on a movie by the guy who wrote Jurassic Park, and it is about another park called Westworld, which is where they have...
That guy loves parks.
Yeah, he does. So he hates them because
makes
he always
good
destroys them and
Right.
makes chaos. But so it's about a, like... it looks... You don't know in the show, but it looks like they, like, bought a huge chunk of the American West, where all the scenery is so beautiful. And they have filled it with, I think, 2,000 androids that they've made that are... It's like if what Walt Disney made at Disney World with those like animatronics that are supposed to be kind of real, if they went...
Like the ones at Chuck E. Cheese?
I
On the stage
can't. I
at
cannot
Chuck E.
speak
Cheese?
to that.
Like Five Nights at
Sounds
Freddy.
about the same.
Those are animatronics.
Like
that
the
move
bootleg fake things that like blink and move around.
Like
and-
like a robot at a theme park that is supposed to resemble a human.
Right, okay.
But they have uploaded like a type of consciousness to them. They look completely real. I mean, these are obviously human actors, and they are acting human. They are not acting any differently.
Right.
But so the park is filled with them, and you can pay and come to the park and like do whatever. And people do real nasty shit. Like people are fucking robots. People are killing robots. Right. The robots cannot kill the people though. They shoot at them and nothing happens.
Okay.
It is just so cool, and the sets and everything that are so great. And what it does is it goes between like people's experiences in the park, the experience of these robots that are kind of like becoming more self-aware of what's happening here, because they basically get rebooted like every day or every couple weeks into like the same storyline, and sometimes they switch them out, but it's like they're finally, it's getting to that part where like the singularity where they know what's going on, they might rebel. And then there's like the makers of the park when you step back a little bit, and Anthony Hopkins, who's like old as fuck now, is one. He's like the maker. He's like the main dude, and he just kind of
Anthony Hopkins.
I like Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, he's really good in it. And
Tony Hop is my man.
Yeah, T Hop is great in this. I don't know. I don't know what else there's to say. There's a lot of theories going on, because every week you're like, okay, is this like human actually a robot? What's coming up? Because what they do is they have storylines in the park, and there's some big new secret storyline that Anthony Hopkins is working on that he wants to implement. And he's like probably gonna die soon, so he's trying to make like some big explosive gesture. But I don't know. Every episode is like 55-ish minutes, like they're big long episodes.
Oh, wow.
The premiere is 70.
Wow.
But it's just, that's like my favorite part of the week right now watching.
Okay.
I just love that hour when I'm watching it, and it's like very rewatchable. It's there if you want to read all about it online and get theories, or you can just watch it too. It's not one where you're like super confused and you have to read the theories. It's like you can just watch it and like come back next week. But the production values are great. It's amazing. So Black Mirror, which I will do second here, because there's pretty much nobody that doesn't like Black Mirror, it seems like.
Yeah, I see a lot of like even rappers who like tweet about episodes and on.
The quality is so good. So it's an anthology show where every episode stands alone, but they're all tied together by the theme of like technology, of us kind of doing what we already do now, which is like going as far as we're technologically able to, whether we maybe should or shouldn't.
Right.
So there were only 7 episodes before this, and now Netflix just dropped 6 all at once. So it's like a big amount.
So the whole thing's on Netflix right now?
It's all on Netflix, yeah. And so each episode will introduce like one little technological thing, and the world goes from there. And it's pretty present day usually. So I'm trying to think what probably the best episode is about if everybody had a like something embedded in your temple, which makes you able to film everything with your eyes.
Oh shit!
And you can replay it on your eyes and like watch it back and rewind it. So it's like a guy thinks his wife is cheating on him based on like interactions he's seen with her having with the guy, and he just keeps replaying it and like obsessing it with it over and over. Yeah, and then this new season, what they did is, so this was like a BBC show, and the new season, like they Americanized it a lot. Like there's been a couple British episodes I've seen, but mostly it's like American, and there's some big actors and big names attached. And like, what have some of the episodes been? Like the first one is very good. It seems like utopian, but it's everybody's on their phone all the time. You're like, okay, this is pretty realistic. But what you find is like every social interaction, you give someone a rating. You rate each other based on it up to 5 stars, and you have an overall rating of yourself.
Holy shit.
And it's this woman who wants to go to she gets invited to be a maid of honor at a wedding, but everybody at the wedding is going to be a 4.5 star or above. And
that's crazy.
So she wants to go and give a speech, so she gets good ratings from these people who are highly rated, which are worth more, which will boost her, so she can live in a community where you have to be a certain amount of star or higher.
Dude, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Is this based on a book or any type of literature?
It's this one guy. It's this one British dude named Charlie Brooker. He writes almost everything, and he is just so smart. And like, I mean, I could tell you about more individual episodes, but like, I think I gave an idea with a couple here. And the main thing that is so interesting about it is like, this is a great show to not binge. Like, you can watch an episode and you will be thinking about it like all week. You will like lie awake at night just thinking about. There's so many interpretations. There's so many like ramifications. It will make you think of stuff in your own life. But it's just like a lot to chew on every single episode. Like the batting average for like just minute by minute of the show is just like so high.
Okay, I'm in. How many episodes in season 1?
The first 2, quote unquote series, British, were 3 episodes.
Okay, that's not bad.
But yeah, I mean, while we're here on the air, I'll say if you want to watch an old one, watch The Entire History of You or 15 Million Merits. And this new season, just watch whatever. I mean, there's one called San Junipero that everyone's losing their shit over. That's great, but you can read the descriptions. You can jump in on anyone.
Can you start in season 2 and like
you could start on any you could start on any episode you wanted.
Okay.
Some people think you should start on the first one. I don't really think you need to.
Like, there's no underlying like through wire.
There's no characters that are in any of the others. They're all set in like a different time frame. Like they don't relate at all. Like there's no reference to the technologies. The Twilight Zone is like a good example. So.
Now, is the content like HBO where like anything goes, like gore, sex, all that good stuff? All right, so I have to watch that with not my kid around.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I'm in.
Cool.
All right, so I think this week we skip whatever happened to and go straight into weekend playlist because we're getting kind of heavy.
Whatever happened to?
Yeah, that's a good one. You tune in next week to find out whatever happened.
Every rapper who like fell off right now is like, okay,
right.
Thank God. They're not gonna out us this week. All right.
Exactly. Cool. So let's go to the weekend playlist. What are you listening to? You want me to start? I'll start if you want.
I got Tidal again.
Yo, you got a on again, off again relationship.
Yeah, no, it's on now. I'm gonna stay because now like the collection of live videos is like better than ever, and I'm just gonna be watching a ton of those. And on the Tidal app, like you can minimize the video player, and you can even lock your phone, and you can just listen to it like a live album. Like, it's great. So
it's pretty dope.
I watched Travis Scott, Made in America, and that would have been Juan's nightmare because he did autotune the whole time. Even when he was rapping,
listen to it. Yeah.
Even on the rap parts, like come on. And I love autotune, but yeah.
I just wish that Tidal would give me a feature like I need a Tidal app on either Roku or something like that where I can watch the video because I've not had to watch on my phone or my laptop. I want to watch it on my 55.
Get that screen. HDMI cable, man.
To go from my phone.
I don't know if they have it for like a tablet, but just do it from your computer.
Yeah.
USB to HDMI. I watched it from my computer on the TV all the time.
Zach, you're so smart. I have like 100 of those cords at my crib. Damn. Anyway, Juan, what are you listening to?
I haven't gotten a chance to listen to Joe Budden's new record,
Woo!
So I'm going to listen to that.
That's a good one, bro.
Oh, and Meek, obviously.
That's a good one. You going, that's it? That's it?
Yeah, that and
Buttons and Meek?
I'm going to try. I'm probably going to skip Meek.
I knew you were going to say that. That's why I threw it
away. I'll hit it eventually, but I'm just going to listen to Button and I definitely want to get started on. I think I'm gonna watch Black Mirror first.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like Westworld, I could wait till it's over and then just watch the whole season. Right. That's how I got into Game of Thrones. I waited like super late and I just binge watched the first like 3 seasons.
It'll be a good one to binge.
So I'm gonna be doing that. And it's Halloween, so I'm gonna be at parties and stuff like that. So
check you out.
I think I'm good.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna be listening to the Buttons. I actually started listening to Big Baby Drum.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's
Drum's
good.
album. I actually really like a bunch of the records on there. I only listened to it one time through. I listened to the Far East Movement album and I really liked it. And oddly
I
enough,
haven't heard from them in a long time.
Big Crit is on the Far East Movement album.
Really?
Interesting enough, yeah.
Dude, there was a point where Far East Movement was at Fuse
Every week.
Like we were doing a lot of stuff with
Yeah,
them.
I really like them.
Super cool dudes and like very
Right.
openly, creatively to doing stuff.
Nice.
Like, and they make good music. So
I'm listening to. I want to hear this Made in Tokyo album that I haven't heard yet. I just think he's super entertaining. Want to hear that, and of course, I'm going to be listening to Dream Chasers Foe.
Yeah.
I'll probably listen to that more than anything. If I've heard it already this week, then I might not get to it. That'll be on the back burner because I need to devote some time to Dream Chasers 4.
Oh, I'm also listening to Riff Raff's Balloween.
Oh, the Balloween. I forgot that mixtape dropped. Yeah.
Yeah.
I told Juan about that. He did not seem very excited.
I'm also gonna go back and listen to the Grand Theft Auto Vice City soundtrack because this week marks the 14-year anniversary of GTA Vice City on PS2.
Vice City is
that
Miami, right?
soundtrack, yeah,
Best.
and
Miami.
that soundtrack, I might go as far to say single-handedly revitalized 80s music in the early 2000s because that
Wow.
It was
soundtrack,
big.
like Foreigner, Journey, like all those, even like Cutting Crew, all those old 80s bands and like one-hit wonders, like hit charts because of that game.
Yeah. It was a bit. You're right. It was big, and it was
huge.
not something happening everywhere you look
Yeah.
like it is today. Yeah.
So I'm definitely
Word.
gonna go back and listen to that because that's one of the greatest soundtracks.
All right, so we're going to close this podcast out with Zach giving us a number
39?
39. Who is it, Zach?
Oh, you know.
Zach's like, home run king, Wayne Gretzky.
Come on, give me set up the accomplishments and then give
Oh,
me the
you know
player.
who was number 39?
Who?
Pete Sampras.
He's right. He was 39 years of age at one point.
All right, we're going to end the podcast right there. Peace.
Peace.